rode an animal from one place to another very much. He must have walked hundreds and hundreds of miles, and I read about him riding on a boat once, but I can't remember another incident when he rode an animal in. But now he gives this unusual and unique request. He tells them to go into this village and get this coat that had never been ridden and bring it to him. He even tells them exactly what to say to the owner if anybody should question them. And once that owner said that, I should have told them right away. Again, should have just confirmed to them it's something special about Jesus.
That's right. Amen. All right.
Now the decision for Jesus to ride this colt into Jerusalem rather than to walk into the city as he had done before, this also was very significant because riding a colt into the city was a public declaration that he was a king. You see, in times of war, a conqueror would come into the town riding on a prancing stallion. But in times of peace, the king would ride into a colt, ride into the city on a colt, symbolizing that peace prevailed. So for Jesus to ride into Jerusalem upon a colt, he was declaring to everybody that I am a king. Are you following me?
All right.
How would the people respond to Jesus riding into the holy city on that colt? I believe maybe some of them would be amused by what Jesus was doing. Many of them knew that he was just this carpenter from Nazareth, and he's declaring that he's the King of Kings. So some of them would just laugh it off. Perhaps some would think Jesus living in a fantasy world, calling himself a king, and they would mock him and laugh at him, and others might greet him with anger, thinking that this was a blasphemous act to say that he was the King of Kings. But I can imagine there was a whole lot of people in the crowd who were eager to praise him. They were eager to place a crown on his head because I believe among those in the crowds there were some people that he had healed. I believe in the crowd there were thousands of people that he had fed. I believe that it was in the crowd that a lot of them had seen the miracles that Jesus performed, and they had heard him speak with power and authority, and their lives had been changed. So I don't believe they had a problem receiving him as a king. Jesus knew all of this, but he also knew that just over the horizon was the old rugged cross, looming like a ferocious and carnivorous beast ready to consume him. But the word said that he still set his face steadfast to go to Jerusalem. See, Jesus, as always, he provides the ultimate example of total commitment. Jesus rides now towards the gate of the city. You know, it's also Passover time. So it's a celebratory spirit all over the place, just permeating the entire city. Now, as he goes through here, even before he's arrived, the story about many things that he's done has already reached him. Can't you hear him talking? Man, did you hear the news? All right. We were over here in Bethany, and this fellow Lazarus was dead. I mean, he was dead. I mean, he was dead at least 3 days in there. So you know his body has started to rot. It started to think. But look, here comes Jesus. Here comes this fellow Jesus. He just walked up to the tomb, and he just said, Lazarus, come forward. And Lazarus came out. Well, I saw it with my own eyes. I mean, this was something to behold. So nobody could do this except he was the Messiah. Except he was the King of Kings. So there was sheer pandemonium throughout the whole city. But Jesus realized that even though some of these were now praising him with hosannas, soon those praises would turn into those cries to crucify him. Crucify him. Or either they'd just be standing on the side doing nothing at all. But now here he is coming down this road to the Mount of Olives. Then suddenly and without warning, the procession stops. Kind of like rush hour traffic. A car stops up front and then it stops back. And then those way in the back would holler, hey, what's going on? You ever been stuck in traffic? You won't even look out the window to try and see what's going on. I wonder what's going on down there. But it was Jesus who had stopped the procession. He had stopped the procession, and as he got there, he stopped, and they saw his body begin to shake. And then they thought initially, well, maybe he's laughing. This would be a good time for him to be happy. everything that was going on. But no, he was crying. He was crying because he looked at the city and he wept for them. There was no evidence of laughter. What they saw instead was tears, and it was sorrow. He was crying for the city because when he looked at Jerusalem, he knew what was coming before them. He knew their fate. They had not heard his message of peace. They had not understood everything that he was trying to teach them. Listen to how it says in Luke 19, beginning at verse 41. As he approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, if you, even you, have only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. The days will come upon you when your enemies will build an embankment against you and encircle you and hem you in on every side. They will dash you to the ground, you and your children within the walls. They will not leave one stone on another, because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you. They had eyes, but couldn't see. They had ears, but couldn't hear. They missed the whole point of the message that Jesus was trying to give them. Although their intent to praise and honor Jesus was, I believe, was genuine, the fact that they waved palm branches indicated they did not really understand. See, because waving palm branches, they were saying in essence that they expected Jesus to be another warlord. They expected him to be a military leader who would lead them to overthrow the Roman government. They were ready to pick up their swords. They were ready to go into war. And they knew that Jesus was the man who could lead them. But Jesus was letting them know, I didn't come for that purpose.
All right.
I came to show you a more better way.
Yes, yes.
I came to show you the way of love.
Yes.
Jesus had taught them to love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. If one smites you on the one cheek, turn you up. If someone wants your coat, give him your cloak also. If they command you to carry your pack a mile, take it 2 miles. Those people who listened to him must have thought, those are very beautiful words, Jesus. But you cannot expect us to love the Romans. You can't expect us to love them. But don't you see, that's exactly what Jesus was telling them. Love even Rome, because Rome, with her mighty army, had seen many times the power of the sword. But Rome had never experienced the power of love. You got some Rome situations going on in your life sometimes.
All right.
And the Lord is expecting you to show them the power of love. Because they have never seen it before. So Jesus wanted his people, and he wants us to show the world about love. The nation of Israel had the opportunity to show Rome something new and something different. But they didn't understand why Jesus came. And because they completely misunderstood his mission, Jesus cried. He wept. He knew that they would miss this glorious opportunity, and they would never have it again. These were God's chosen people. God had loved them. He had led them through the wilderness. They had seen all of the miracles that he could do. So as Jesus sits upon this beast of burden, he sees the towering temple of God silhouetted against the sky. But beyond that, he could see all that the people would soon endure. How different the history of Israel could have been if they had only recognized the one who came in their midst, riding on a colt. Today for us, just like the city of Jerusalem, we find ourselves in the presence of Jesus. We find ourselves in the presence of the Master. I wonder what he sees when he looks into our faces. What does he see? Does he see people who are just concerned about mundane things? About income taxes, about worried about job security, worried about health care or the lack of health care? Is that what he sees when he looks in our eyes? Does he see people who are too busy doing their own thing? so busy that they're never bothered